Welcome everyone, Gramps Races here with another exciting video. Today we have the mobile racing simulator. It sounds insane, it sounds crazy, but we actually have it. This is Grid Autosport. Welcome to Grid Autosport, folks. This is probably my favorite game at the moment. We're gonna cover the basics here. Excuse me, talking too fast for my lips. Excuse me. So we're gonna kind of cover some basic things here. Not everything will be covered because it's gonna be a 30-minute video if we do, and I really can't do that right now. So this is Grid Autosport. I'm kind of scrolling through the menu right now. You can kind of see the options. We're at the time trial, quick race. We're going to go into the options and extras here because I think that will give the best idea of how close to a simulator for a mobile game it can get. So first off, we're going to be looking at the damage level. And so basically with the damage level, you can put this to full or turn it off. And so with damage, you can actually puncture your tire, damage your engine, you can damage your steering, and it's really awesome. So AI difficulty, it's pretty self-explanatory. The lower difficulty, the less XP you get. We always have ours on the highest difficulty, which is going to be the Master. Simulator Pro handling assist. Basically, it means all of your assists are off and that you're using a custom setup, basically. So it's just automatically turned to that option. You can have like arcade handling assists and stuff, but obviously we're not going to be using that. Transmission is going to be automatic. You can change it to manual if you want, but you have to tilt your device, and it is just not really the best. Traction control, we have that off. ABS, we also have that off. You can turn these on if you want. Definitely recommend it if you're just starting this game. Stability control, this is also off with the Simulator Pro layout. The race length, you can set it to twice the length, I think 4 times and 8 times, so you can actually have like 40-minute endurance races. It's really awesome. Basically the HUD, you can turn this on or off. Basically the only reason you'd want to turn it off is to get more XP. We have our racing line off. You can also turn this on. Recommend it if this is the first time playing it. Flashbacks, you can actually replay where you were in the game. So if you crash, you can actually replay. You can set this to infinity, but you do lose a lot of XP that way. I just have it set up to 2. Yeah, just because I like that. So we're going to actually show you some gameplay here. This is going to be in an 8-minute quick endurance race on a customizable championship. We're going to be in the LMP1. So a couple of things here. On the right side of the screen, we're actually going to make a position right there, right off the bat. On the right side of the screen, you actually see a throttle slider. And that basically is, I control the throttle, the accelerator pedal, with a sliding little bar there that emulates the pedal. And it gives you a lot of control compared to just tapping, and you know, that's automatic full beans. Basically, a lot of games on the market, you tap to go full throttle, and you don't have any customizable controls for throttle. So that's really cool. We're actually going to get on the throttle super quick and make the move up there on our boy Nathan McCain, getting our elbows out. So that was pretty nice there. This is obviously on Silverstone. And so we're going to keep talking about the controls here. On the left side, you can see I'm using the wheel. I really like using the wheel, just my preference. And so we're going to look at the camera here, just over this little overtake. You can see we kind of get I was going to go for the move there. Not really going to happen though. It was kind of a little bit too far back, but we get space anyway. Going to get the slipstream here. So the slipstream is actually pretty effective in this game. A little bit too overpowered for my liking, to be honest. But, you know, it is what it is. And yeah, the camera, honestly, the following camera, like this stuff is just absolutely magnificent, to be honest. I really like the replay system that this game has. You can change other camera angles. You can set it to first kind of like behind the wheel. You can set it to on the bumper, you know, chase cam, you know, etc. I like to play on the hood view when I'm racing. It's just my preference as well. And actually the AI, they're going to think about a move. You have the little indicator. You can see the little arrow at the bottom of my screen there. And that basically shows you how close your opponent is close to you. So the more transparent the arrow is, the farther they are. And then when it's really white, they're really close to you. And obviously it moves depending on where they are behind you. So it's really cool. I really like that feature. It makes it feel, it kind of gives me like Gran Turismo when I watch Gran Turismo videos, or just any Forza videos. Just like, it's just a really nice feature to have. And so we're gonna slow it down here because I actually wanted to show this kind of correction of steering. As I shift, I have to give it a counter steer, because when this game, if you guys shift, I think like first and second gear, if you get into these the higher classes of cars, so like LMP1s, the Indy cars and stuff like that, even the F2, or not F2, but like the Indy Lights cars that they have. Basically, if you're shifting from first to second gear and you're going around a corner, if you're shifting from even second to third and you're going around a corner, it's actually going to throw off your steering and throw off the balance of the car, and you're going to have to counter steer for that. So balance of the car, this game, the reason why it's just so close to a simulator over everything else is because the actual cars just have, like, you can feel the weights in them, and you actually have to counter steer, and it's just absolutely like nothing else on the market. Basically, it is truly the closest thing I think we have. So yeah, the cars are just, you can feel the weight of the cars. You can feel when you change classes that each car, you know, obviously, you know, the speeds are different, but how they handle is so much different than other classes. So like a touring car with like little to no downforce is going to handle completely different to this LMP1 or the Indy cars. But on the low corners, those touring cars actually might be a lot easier to use. It's just really, really well done, and you can feel all of the little differences when you guys change classes. And another thing that's really cool, you can actually change the setup of your car when you do career mode and the custom championships. And what I mean by that, you can actually change, you know, your ride height of the car. You can change your downforce levels. For this race, I'm actually using like 70% low downforce, and I think like a little bit shorter gear ratio. So you can change the gear ratios, you can change the differential, you can change the brake bias as well. I think we have a little bit of front bias on this race as well, just because with this car I get a little bit of oversteer and stuff, so I just want a little bit more stability, and I'll take less corner entry. So you can change the front shocks, the rear shocks on this stuff. It's just absolutely really well done, and the cool thing is you can really feel it. Like, it makes an actual difference to your car, and it's just really helpful. It's just really immersive. The graphics on this game are really nice. As you guys can see, the skies are beautiful, and the graphics are pretty good. And this is just the performance option. So basically, I think you have 3 options. You have like the lowest, which is like full, like low battery mode, and then you have, I believe, like a low graphics mode, and then performance mode, which actually might be the same. I can't actually be sure, but it's one of those 2. And then you have like the high graphics mode, which I'm not showing right now, because for some reason, this is probably one of the few complaints that I have of this game. The high graphics mode, actually, I'm still dropping. I'm not at full frame rate compared to this. I don't know if the frame rate is 60 or 120 for this game, but regardless, when I go into the full graphics mode, it actually drops a little bit, and you can actually feel it stuttering a little bit, which is kind of crazy because I have the newest iPad that's out, which is the M1 2021 iPad. So a little bit of a small complaint there. Can't use the max graphics options on the latest iPad. A little bit of a misoptimization, I guess. So, but it's something negligible. Really, the performance option for me looks still fantastic. You can see the helicopter in the distance. It still looks fantastic to me, and it's really not that big of a deal for what this game truly is. It's just a small, minute detail. So, let's see. So the AI difficulties. So the AI difficulties we kind of saw in the beginning. You can change it up, and we're using the master setting. So the AIs in this game are ridiculously fast, and that's really awesome because you don't have a multiplayer feature. So having really ridiculously fast AIs is really nice to have. And the other thing is that they actually fight you, and they fight for position, and sometimes they actually dive bomb you, and it can actually kind of get frustrating at times. That would maybe be another complaint, is sometimes the AIs really kind of just tap you on the rear quarter, like the rear quarter panel, when they're like not even alongside, and they not alongside, but they still go for like a gap. And yeah, sometimes they can get pretty crazy and over aggressive, but honestly, it's really nice, and it's a lot better than, like, say, I'm gonna say it, but Real Racing 3. Real Racing 3, I don't feel like they're really aggressive at all, and yeah, it's a lot different. But as you saw there, we actually almost lost control, and we lost a lot of ground to our opponents. So now we're trying to cut the slipstream and just take it easy on these next couple corners. As you can see on the right hand side of my screen, I have 4 boxes, and basically each box is a tire. So you can see my front tires are about 50% and my rear tires are about 35%. And basically with endurance races, a really cool feature about it is you have tire wear. And tire wear, as you guys can probably guess, you start out with 100%, and as the race goes on, it's going to actually degrade. When you lock up your wheels or you get on the throttle too earlier and spin up the tires, you're actually going to lose tire wear faster than if you actually took corners easier and didn't get on the throttles all crazy like. And as you can see, I'm actually not adjusting to these worn out tires. I'm missing my braking points, and I'm using my old braking points that I used with higher grip tires when they weren't degrading as much. And as you can see, I wasn't even at full throttle on the right hand side of my screen, and I was still counter steering like crazy when we were shifting. So the tires, when they start degrading, it gets pretty crazy, and you really have to adjust for it, which is really cool. And so I didn't talk about it earlier, but the brakes, you actually have to tap. You see that little red circle on my screen? You have to tap it, and there's no sort of adjustable braking like how you have with the throttle, unfortunately. So when you start locking up under heavy braking, you actually, to break up the lock, you have to release the brake quickly and then get back on it, and then eventually you will unlock the tires. But I think that's about it for what I wanted to cover today. I hope you guys enjoyed and kind of saw how cool this game was through this quick video. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, like, all that stuff. And as always, folks, have a great rest of your day.
Boom.